Sweet William is the name of the villa that we discovered abandoned on the breathtaking Greek island of Zakynthos.
Through the incredible power of YouTube, the original owners and builders of the house found our renovation channel and reached out to us.
In this video, we'll uncover the history behind Villa Sweet William's name and explore why the family chose this Ionian island gem to build their new life under the Mediterranean sun.
In the 1980s, a British family made the bold and life-changing decision to start anew on the Greek island of Zante.
Their home was christened Villa Sweet William, not only as a tribute to the beautiful flower, but as a homage to one half of the intrepid couple who embarked on this Mediterranean adventure. They were Dora and William, pioneers of their time.
New Year's Day 2025 brought us a message we never anticipated. We were out on a long walk, attempting to clear our heads from the previous night's celebrations, when the notifications appeared on our phones. Messages that would connect us to Sweet William's past in ways we couldn't have imagined.
Sadly, Bill and Dora are no longer with us, but their son and daughter-in-law were kind enough to spend some time running us through the history of Villa Sweet William.
Was it you who found the videos in the first place, our channel on YouTube?
Yeah,
It just popped up on your home screen one day, or how did that?
No, as you get older, you can't do so many things. I still manage to do quite a bit, but when I sit down and look at YouTube, I was looking at somebody got somewhere in Ireland, and because we had that small holding. And I particularly looked at the small people gone to Spain, gone to Ireland, gone to Portugal and doing up an old house. Somebody come to Wales. And I just suddenly sat there. I thought, I wonder if there's anybody in Greece. And I put house renovation in Greece instead of, and 2 or 3 down, I see Sweet William. And Chris sat next to me. I said, I can't believe this. Before I opened it, I said, I can't believe this. He said, what? I said, there's a house here in Greece being renovated called Villa Sweet William, or Sweet William. I said, it can't be. And we clicked on it. Wow. We nearly cried, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah.
And then I said, well, there's a message saying you're renovating my granddad's villa. And I was like, do you think it's legit? And I can remember thinking, is someone like pulling our leg a bit, and then obviously we started speaking to. It was just like, wow, absolutely wow, we just couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Yeah, amazing.
We began this YouTube journey with no grand expectations. We're simply a couple with a passion for travel who decided to document our adventure renovating an old Greek house for anyone who might be interested.
The fact that our videos led us to Villa Sweet William's original owners is an unexpected treasure we could never have anticipated.
And we never really got into it to build a massive subscriber base and make money and all that stuff, because one of my friends is really into like watching old renovations from around the world. And he said, well, why don't you just film what you're doing over there, even if, nothing comes of it. And it's just interesting. It's like
it's like a diary.
Like a document.
Yeah,
it's a document.
Yeah.
A part of our life. So we thought, we've got nothing to lose. So we started filming with no real intention of doing much other than, making videos mainly for whoever might find it interesting.
The first video they discovered was one of our earliest creations, truly basic in every sense.
Filmed on a smartphone with simple editing as we were just finding our footing in content creation. Little did we know these humble beginnings would forge such a meaningful connection.
That one and that was the one we saw, the first one, is when you walked through that door and, our hearts just stopped, because it's just like when we left it, nothing had changed.
No, all the ornaments and everything.
The only thing that was missing was that we had a diesel heater before they had the central heating.
We gradually realised the people we bought the villa from hadn't really altered the property or its contents at all. It was surprising to discover that everything we found when we arrived had remained largely untouched since the 1980s.
The original owners recognised items in our videos that had been part of their daily lives for decades. even a champagne cork with a euro embedded in it that we instinctively preserved.
And that's where Dora got that champagne
with the euro in it.
Oh, really?
euro in it. Yeah.
It's funny because when we were like, obviously when we first turned up, everything was left by the previous people. All the drawers were, you could barely open them because they were so packed with stuff. But there'd been some mice in the villa. We had a rat in the loft that woke us up one morning, which was a bit of a shock. And yeah, I don't think anyone had been there for a couple of years, maybe because of COVID. So it felt kind of like it needed clearing out and freshening up, which was kind of our first task. But yeah, I found that champagne cork with the euro in it, and I looked at that, and I didn't throw it. I put it on the side, and I was like, someone's done that for good luck. And yeah, I didn't expect you to remember or know what I was kind of talking about, really. So yeah, that was really nice. And when I was going to buy a nice box frame and put some pictures and bits in it of Bill and Dora, and I'll make sure that goes in it as well, and it can all stay at the.
That's
We just
lovely.
wish we kept more of it now.
We do wish we'd kept more now.
More about the history at the time, we would have definitely have kept more little like knickknacks and things like that.
While we now wish we'd kept more of the original items, knowing their sentiment, we're particularly grateful that we preserved and restored key pieces like the original villa sign.
Throughout our conversation, we began to appreciate just how courageous their decision to relocate to Greece in the 1980s truly was.
It's really funny you say about things touching your heart, and I can remember looking at the photos thinking, gosh, we thought we were quite edgy and, you know, like buying a place in Greece. Like none of our friends have like bought a place abroad. No one else is doing this.
You were doing it 4 years ago.
And then you were doing it when we were at primary school, and I'm looking at it thinking, my God, we're not edgy at all. Bill and Dora had the monopoly on this one. Like, wow.
Oh dear.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
but that made me laugh when you said you were in kindergarten school when we were moving out there.
Doing all of that, yeah.
We were both. One of the things, it's quite ironic, really. One of the things that we both liked about the villa before we bought it was the fact that it was described in the advert as an 80s villa. Chris and I were both born in 1980, so it was kind of like, oh, it's an 80s villa. I don't know, just stood out to us a little bit.
Yeah, it felt right.
We hope you're enjoying this glimpse into Villa Sweet William's history. Our conversation spanned almost 2 hours, so we've divided it into sections that we'll release weekly.
If you'd like to follow this entire journey, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already.
We can bore you with all our
Not
Zakynthos stories.
Not at all. It's so nice. It's so nice to hear so much about the villa and life, and yeah, no, we couldn't be happier.
We've often spoken about Zakynthos having a special energy that evokes a profound sense of well-being.
It's one of the island's qualities that we cherish the most, and it was fascinating to discover that they experienced the same kind of magical feeling decades before us.
Anyway, we went to Zakynthos, and you know, I felt on top of the world. I'd never felt so well in my life, and we went back again, and the same thing happened.
We ended up feeling amazing, and it was like we can't wait to go back there. And we'd actually been looking at properties in France for about 5 years, thinking that that's where we would buy.
As children of the 1980s ourselves, we were completely unaware that for many years foreigners could only purchase homes in select Greek islands or regions.
Well, in that time, in the 1980s, you could only buy, this is probably interesting for your video, in the 1980s, you could only buy a property in Greece on about 5 islands. And yeah, Zakynthos was one of them.
Wow.
You could buy elsewhere, but you had to have a 50% share with a Greek.
During the 1980s and 1990s, Greece maintained strict property laws for foreigners, particularly in border regions and certain islands due to national security concerns.
foreign citizens required special government approval to purchase property in restricted areas, including many islands such as Rhodes, Kos and Lesbos.
However, foreigners could more readily acquire properties on islands like Corfu, Kefalonia, Zakynthos and many of the Cyclades, including Mykonos and Santorini.
These restrictions gradually eased, especially for EU citizens, making Greek property investment considerably more accessible today. Fortunately, Zante was among the islands where foreigners could purchase land or homes.
So the reason we haven't got many photographs of it being built is because the landowner put us in touch with the guy we bought the land off of, he sold us the land, and he put us in touch with a cousin, as they do over there, with a cousin who was a builder, his cousin had this big factory in Athens where they made these, like, we would call IKEA houses. And we picked it out of, like we said, we picked it out of a catalogue. And at that time, in a village, you could build what you like, but outside the village, you had to have what they call strema, which was 4,000 square meters of land. It all happened so quickly. We paid the money, and I think we left. And we left in the last flight in the October. By the time we come back in May, the base had been and it was up. And the only photographs we had were the people that were, our friends that were there. They run in a bar, and of course they run it in the winter as well. They couldn't get round there, so but we can't find them photographs.
Okay.
We've hunted high and low. We've been up in the loft.
We'll explore the construction of Villa Sweet William and similar Greek homes in greater depth soon. But first, we wanted to understand why the family had chosen a traditional village location rather than an area with a larger expat or tourist presence.
What I also wanted to ask you was, because it was kind of the village location that we wasn't sure about, because it's not near the beaches, as in a tourist resort. But there's something about that village. What did you find about that? Was you just looking for land, and there was only a few locations that you could find land in, so you ended up in that village, or was there anything in particular that drew you to it?
A couple of things, really. One, the price was right. It was only $1.5 million. The price was right. It was in a village. It wasn't far from the airport. We didn't really know much about it, and because our friends were friends with the guy on the corner, and we'd been there for lunch and dinner and all sorts of things, and we felt sort of safe just to buy that, because we knew that Mum and Dad would be near town, and that we would be looking for somewhere else, and to us it didn't matter. We wanted somewhere really quiet.
We've discovered that village life is something we deeply appreciate, despite our initial uncertainties. One aspect we particularly value about this community is the make, do and mend philosophy, where resources are treasured and items repaired rather than discarded, a sustainable approach we all share.
And you're doing such a good job, and of all the, I have watched quite a few of these ones, but you make it so interesting, because lots of people say, oh, we're doing this and doing that, but you're saying, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm, and you get there, and it's great. It's absolutely great. And it's quite a big, about a third of an acre, and which isn't very big. It's about 3 times the size of Zakynthos bit. And I've got all this rubbish stuff that I keep to repair and make things.
Yeah.
And I'm exactly the same. It won't be thrown away unless I can repair it.
Yeah.
And so I'm really interested in what you're doing.
Oh, that's really nice to hear, because it is important to us anyway. And before we even knew that we'd find the people that built it, we still wanted to just try and keep its character, keep its charm, keep it, you know, as traditional as we could, because it's such a cute little. I mean, the area is beautiful, the land is beautiful, and the house is just so. Well, it's perfect for us, isn't it?
Yeah, and the people next door and across the road, and yeah, it's the whole package, isn't it? It's
Yes.
just,
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lovely. It's a really happy place.
Yeah. It really. Yeah. We've had some lovely memories.
As the conversation continued, we felt increasingly grateful for our decision to document this renovation journey, which has rekindled memories not only for the original family, but also for friends who once visited Villa Sweet William in its heyday.
We've got a friend that used to, her son used to work for British Airways, and they used to get what they call standby tickets, which were free. If there were seats on the plane, you could get on it, and they didn't pay for the tickets because her son worked for, and any airline in the world used to accept these. Well, they used to come out nearly every weekend for nothing, and they'd turn up, and we sent the link to them, and he's not been very well. Well, and she's never been technically minded at all. She can't even open the computer. Well, she's found all your videos.
oh wow!
And now she's thrilled to bits because her brother came round, and now he projects it up onto the television.
Oh.
And they were out there. They helped us no end, didn't they? Putting up the fence and doing the garden and that. So they're really into it. Well, I spoke to her a couple of days ago, and she says it's great. I can watch every episode on the television now.
Oh, amazing!
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's really moving to learn how our renovation is bringing joy to people who hold cherished memories of this place. We hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as we have. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so.
Next week, we'll delve deeper into the construction of the house, along with some entertaining Greek anecdotes.
We hope you'll join us then.
But for now, we'll give the last word to the family about the importance of following your heart and living your dreams.
My dad, when he went out, he was 70.
He was 70.
But you know, that gave my dad another 10 years being out there. He drove around in that little Jeep. He had a Suzuki Jeep as well. And they drove around there with a top, and they had the dog in the back. And
time of their lives.
So they're having the time of their lives, and they used to go out and have a meal and have a drink. And, of course, there was no...